In this video, we're going to be looking at ways to improve Conquest. We've just had our first week of the game mode. It seems to be very, very popular. Lots of people enjoyed it. We got the really talented who got not just 1 or even 2, but sometimes 3+ infinity borders on their avatars. Some folks who got lucky with the RNG matchup and not experiencing any hard counters along the way, because you know in a game like this, there's a lot of rock, paper, scissors, and there's not necessarily any one perfect deck out there. But regardless of why you got your border, you did get it, and I think they should still feel exclusive, rare, special, anything that you can do to feel that E-flex onto any person in the game you go up against. I think it's important for Second Dinner to keep that unique, fun feeling, which I believe comes from rarity. So how do you improve it? Let's go through some ideas. Love to hear your thoughts on each one of these, as well as anything we might not have covered in this video. Please list below. First up, shorter times for turns 1 and 2. You don't need as much time to think about those moments. All right, timer for turns 1, and I'll fast forward this for you so you don't have to sit here and watch, but I'm gonna let it run. We start getting that noise right around 31, 32 seconds. It's flashing screen around 37 seconds. 40, 41, 42. Yeah. 43 seconds before you run out of time. Turn 2. All right, we're talking about the same amount of time per turn. So we're talking a minute and a half that you could sit there. It's not needed for turns 1 and 2. I think shorten them. Second up, too many screens, both before and after, during wins and losses. The number of screens to be able to enter a match here. Proving guards, enter. Okay. That was 1. This is 2. Sort of 3, because it scrolls down. Play. All right, this is 4, but I like this one. This one's needed. Confirm. All right, 5, waiting for opponent. Again, needed. We get our opponent. That's not, again, needed. So 5-ish just to start. All right, so we just won. We're going to start a timer here. How long does this take and how many screens? Next. All right, we get the number of rounds victory. That's 1 screen. Next, we get our boosters. That's 2 screens. And we get our third screen, which sort of knocks them out, gives us our medal. That's 4 screens. It shifts up. That's 5 screens. It gives you your crown. That's 6 screens. Taking a little bit, saying we get a silver ticket in next. And then 8 screens to claim the silver ticket. 8 screens. 8! And what? How long? Roughly 30 seconds. You could obviously shorten that by just clicking. Too long. We do our courtesy initial slap. Good job. I'm conceding. All right, so there's that. I lose, right? So I know I've lost, regardless of when it is. I click next. Here's this screen showing me typically how much health we have. It's fine. I know I've lost. So that's 1. I get my boosters. Again, that doesn't really count. 2. Come here. The one just before this was 3. This is 4 that I incompleted. I didn't get my conquest. And that it's just like, why do I need both those screens? You don't need them. Number 3, why can't I run multiple conquests at once? Meaning if I'm in the middle of a gold tier run or even silver or infinite and I can't play another one, and it really mainly hurts when you're in gold or infinite, those are the ones you want to think through. And if I'm in a gold and maybe, you know what, I just don't have time to really think in a game and I just want to play a quick one because it's a mobile game and you don't want to spend a lot of time on it. The kids are in the other room, or you know, you got a quick bathroom break at work. I just want to play a quick Proving Grounds or Silver matchup and not worry about it. Maybe there's a coding issue, but it'd be nice to be able to do that. This one might be a little controversial because we're talking about shortening time, but the concept of what is called sideboarding, which basically means during a matchup at some point, you're able to swap something out of your deck for something in your collection. Maybe your opponent is running a bunch of high cards and you didn't bring Shang-Chi and now you want to. Or your opponent's bringing a bunch of 1s and you want to bring in Killmonger. Or maybe they've got Darkhawk and Dino and you want to bring Enchantress. Or maybe you want to bring in your Zabu to get your 4s earlier. Whatever it might be, you can bring something in. Now, my concept for this, to keep it real short, is maybe at the halfway point in a match, as soon as somebody gets the half of their energy or power, you have 45 seconds to swap in and out up to maybe 2 cards. I haven't thought through the math of that, but I think that might be reasonable. And if you shorten turns 1 and 2, you get the time right there. Next, we've got find a way to avoid delayed tech issues. This one's tough. If it's happened a lot, it's going to be a big problem. Now, the flip side to trying to do something with the specific issue we're talking about in a second here is that people could make things up to try to get free tickets, and maybe they force close their game and say, oh, I lost, I got booted out. And I'm not sure Second Dinner is going to have a way to be able to tell that. The specific issue, again, I got to shout out Jeff Hoogland, who was the one I saw on Twitter who shouted this one out. And Taro Bang, who I've seen around Discords and also Twitter, brought out a big Marvel Snap oof. And the long and short of this post is essentially that it's the Marvel Snap support response to somebody who got booted out of a game. The part that's tough here, though, it says, we are aware of this issue and our development team is actively working on fixing it. So it's something internal, but even if it wasn't, I think it's still a problem. However, we regret to inform you that at this time we are unable to recover your Infinity ticket or reverse the loss associated with your particular match. That feels bad. Now what they say above here is somehow the game was forced quit on them. They tried to reconnect and then it registered as a loss in Conquest mode despite having full HP, and the incident happened within a minute. So basically somehow they got, I don't know if it was a connection error, their internet, something on second dinners, but they were out, they tried to reconnect and it was all within a minute, so the game shouldn't have ended, but it's at a loss. Like that's no time for anybody who couldn't find a way back in game, but they lost their Infinite ticket. Now, given how hard it can be to get that border, I could see where this person's extremely frustrated. For me personally, I don't understand why Second Dinner would just not hand out an Infinity ticket on this. But again, like I mentioned in the front end of this, what's to keep someone from force closing their game on purpose if they think they've got a bad matchup, even with all of their health? Because if they say maybe they go up against the bounce and it's not going to work for them, oh shoot, I'm just going to force click, give me my Infinite ticket and put me right back where I was. Thanks, bye. So this is a tough one, but I think they got to find ways to avoid things like this. A simple one, just less health. Maybe instead of 10, we get 8. This just generally helps speed up the game. They could adjust when the max go in, but there's keys that I'm going to get to in a second that I would only make this particular change with decreased health if you make a change that I'm about to mention. This one's probably an easy one that we all agree on. More items in the shop. Now, I actually think they wholeheartedly plan to already do this. I think they left it this way to see where we would all be at with our medals. Now, I haven't even played a lot. I was on vacation. I didn't grind. I went through Infinite a few times and I still was able to buy every single thing in here. And I didn't even really want this avatar, but I was like, you know what? I've got the medals. I'll buy it. And I think I bought one set of green goblins and I've bought at least 3 or 4 of these boosters, and I can still buy 3 more as of right now. So I think they're getting a feel for how many medals everybody's going to get, and they're going to go, okay, so maybe we can hopefully add this many tokens, this many mystery variants, this much more gold, and we can still keep it so that people aren't going insane with able to get these things. Now, they can still go insane and play the game, but I think regardless, they've got to find a way to incentivize people to keep playing Infinite. I know some really talented players who got their border basically right away, and after that they were sort of like, well, I didn't really care to play it much anymore, which that's not what you want. You want people to feel incentivized to keep playing. Now, last but not least, I think, and this is the part that ties into the health, for either Infinity or Gold, definitely Infinity, maybe not Gold, but Infinity, when you're in here, I think you should be allowed 2 losses to be able to be booted. And the reason is not because I think more people should deserve borders.
You're all not worthy.
It's because the concept of this game is, like I mentioned earlier, it is a paper, rock, scissors, rock, paper, scissors, however you want to call it, so that there's always a counter to every deck. Sometimes we do get metas, it's like, look, this is just dominating, but in theory, there should always be a card or a couple cards that can be in your opponent's deck and you have no chance of winning. That feels really bad if you get to matchup number 5 and you just happen to come across that deck. And it's like, you've got to be kidding me. I did so well on all 4 of these other ones. Maybe I had some close ones, and now I just happen to meet the hard counter to my deck, and there's nothing I can do to win. No matter how good I am, no matter how bad the locations are for my opponent, I cannot win this. So given the RNG of those matchups, plus the RNG on locations, I think it just makes sense to add 1 more loss. So that way, if someone's really talented enough, they're going to be able to make it up. There's certainly going to be people who get lucky and get it as well, but I don't think that's something that's going to make it so that so many people get those infinite borders that it's not going to feel good. I certainly wouldn't be upset if Second Dinner didn't add something like this because they want to keep it so rare, but leaning into that concept that they always talk about is wanting more fun. I think this is something that would make it feel a little better. Because if you lose twice in Infinite, it's like, look, sorry. Like, I'm just sorry. And maybe both of them are against a hard counter. Sometimes that's the luck of the draw. And you know what? Maybe when you lose, you drop down 1 tier. That's not bad, right? So it's not like you're not punished a little bit for losing. One other idea we talked about on the Discord a little bit was the concept of banning cards. While I think this could be interesting and potentially cool, I think to those free-to-play or non-collection complete folks, I think this is too much. I think it will be too hard for them to climb. So for that reason, I don't think Second Dinner should do it, but it was an interesting concept. And again, if you've got other ideas, please listen below. I would love to hear them. Ultimately, I think the game mode's fantastic. I had a lot of fun. Let me know what your thoughts are also as far as the game mode goes below. If you want to come chat about in the Discord, the link's in the description below. Curious to see how everybody thinks that this game mode is going to evolve. There's a lot of opportunity here. So definitely those are the sort of conversations that I'm personally looking to engage to. Again, like I mentioned, your suggestions, goods, bads, whatever you think might be helping or hurting this specific game mode. Appreciate you guys making this far. If you want to help support the channel, hammer down that like button. And until next time, I hope you have a wonderful day.